Welcome to our decimals adding and subtracting flip video. Please have out your recording sheet, and if you have any questions, you can ask myself or any of your other teachers. So have out your recording sheet, make sure that you do your thing through math and that you complete that, and make sure that you write down the definition as it's shown and practice your multiplication or division facts for at least 5 to 10 minutes a day. Decimal. A decimal represents a number that is a part of a whole. Also, make sure that you can do all of your facts in one day if you want to for 20 minutes, but make sure that you do your facts. So let's talk about base 10 and decimals just as a quick review. So I know that there are 10 spots here, and one of them is shaded. So this is the 10th spot. That's 1/10. I know that there are 100 here, so this is 1/100th. If I'm looking at this one, this is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4 tenths, or it could be represented as 40 hundredths. Remember, you're not changing anything whenever you do that. This is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is going to be 8 tenths or 80 hundredths if I split this into 100 pieces. This is going to be 1 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 tenths, or 1 and 80 hundredths. This is going to be 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74. This is going to be 74 hundredths, okay? This is going to be 10, 20, 30, 40, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is going to be 44 hundredths. And this is going to be 1 and 10, 20, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38. So 1 and 38 hundredths. That's what that represents. Let's get into the adding and subtracting of decimals. When I add and subtract decimals, I went over all of those so that you can remember the place value, because you want to add your decimals by lining up the decimal point and the place value. So if I have 35 hundredths and 67 hundredths, and I'm going to add, then I just simply add like this. 7 plus 5, and then 3 plus 6 plus 1, so that's 9, and that's going to be 10. That's going to come over here. So what that's going to do is it's going to give me a whole number and a decimal. So it's going to be 1 and 2 hundredths is what that's going to be, because that 1 carries over to the other side of the decimal now. If I have 98 hundredths minus 21 hundredths, I line up my hundredths and my tenths. And my answer is going to be 77 hundredths. Now, I have this one going all the way to the thousandths place. Even though we haven't learned about the thousandths place, you may see something like this. So this is tenths, hundredths, and thousandths. Now I have to line up the decimals. I'm going to put 726 thousandths minus 38. The 3 is in the tenths, the 8 is in the hundredths. And then I can just put a 0 right here. And now I can subtract. I can still borrow. And everything whenever you are subtracting decimals. You're just making sure that you line up your place value. This one's going to get tricky. This is 7 tenths. 7 tenths is still bigger than this because there's a 7 in the tenths place and a 1 in a hundredths place. And if I'm going to subtract, I'm going to match that 1 up with the tenths, and then I'm going to put those numbers there. And behind this, I can put zeros. It doesn't change the value of that number. So now, whoops, I'm subtracting, not adding. Now I can borrow from here, make this a 10, then a 9, then a 10. And there you go. That's how easy it is whenever you're subtracting and adding. Some people may say line up the decimal, and yes, that does work, but when you start multiplying them in 5th grade, lining up the decimal doesn't work. You do want to line up the place value. Now I have a whole number in a decimal, 23 and 9/10. And then I have 71 hundredths. So this is how I'm going to add these. I can put a 0 behind it because it doesn't change the value of it. So if I put a 0 behind it, then it makes it a little bit easier for me to line them up. But I knew that this is in the tenths and that's the tenths, so I can do that. And then I just add it up. And my answer was 24 and 61 hundredths. Last one, I'm going to subtract. I have 35 and 2/10 minus 46. And then I can still do some borrowing here. This is going to be a 1. This is going to be a 10. Then I can borrow from this place still. Even though there's a decimal, I can still borrow. And there's my answer, 34 and 74 hundredths. So if you line up the place value, then you put your zeros on the end, it makes it a whole lot better. But make sure that you line up your place value. If you have any questions, you can always ask, and make sure that you complete your assignment, and have a great evening.